congregation or other people is really intended to be the true teaching.
Okay, so
that was my...
All right. Would you be consistent in saying then that someone should correct the Quran for misrepresenting what Christians believe concerning the deity of Christ and the Trinity? Because of those passages in the Quran, there are Muslims who have no interaction with Christians and mistakenly assume, on the basis of the Quran, that Christians worship three gods consisting of Allah, Mary his wife, and their offspring Jesus, on the basis of statements of the Quran such as chapter 5 verses 72 to 75 and chapter 5 verses 116 to 117. Since the Quran is giving a misleading impression to Muslims concerning what Christians believe, would you be consistent and say that those portions of the Quran should be expunged or corrected to accurately reflect Christian beliefs so that Muslims do not mistakenly think that we worship three gods?
Actually, any Muslim that's going around and saying that Islam or anybody else saying that Islam teaches that that Muslims believe that Mary is also part of the deity and Trinity, that is false.
Your Muslim scholar said that. Ibn Ishaq said that. You can read Tafsir Jalalain.
He doesn't believe in Ibn Ishaq.
Oh no, but the problem is he's got to give the historical context. Even if he doesn't believe in these sources, he still has to explain the historical context of these passages to say, well, I don't care what the two Jalal say or Ibn Kathir says or Ibn Ishaq reports. You still have to tell me the historical context, the historical situation that was the impetus for these passages to be composed. Why was chapter 5 verses 116 to 117 composed? Why was chapter 5 verses 72 to 75 composed? Well, you need to go look into your historical sources. And when you do, according to your oldest records, such as Ibn Ishaq, Ibn Ishaq claims that a group from Najran, Christians from Najran, came and debated with Muhammad, saying that when the Quran says we and us and our, that's proof that there are three, Allah, Mary, and Jesus. So according to your sources, these passages are attacking supposedly what Christians believed, that Allah, Mary, and Jesus consist of a divine triad. And that's what chapter 5 verse 116 actually says. It says that Allah will ask Jesus, "Oh Jesus, did you say to the people, take you and your mother as two gods besides Allah?" So if I go to your Muslim sources to see why these passages were composed, these passages were composed in response to what Christians supposedly believed. So again, would you join me in saying that because the Quran gives a distorted picture of what Christians believe, these passages should be expunged or corrected? Because historically you have no evidence that Christians believed God, Mary, and Jesus consisted of a holy triad, Father, Mother, and their offspring. That's not what Christians believe. And no Christians say Allah's the third of three. That's what your Quran says that we Christians say. Allah's the third of three. We don't say that. So would you join me?
I cannot, because of the fact that Quran clearly classifies Christians into multiple categories. There are those that in their heart they believe God is a third of Trinity. There are those that they believe Jesus himself is God.
Manu, I've never met a Christian who says that.
Yeah, God is a third of a Trinity.
I've met a ton of Christians. I've never said that. I can't find any evidence of any Christian who's ever said that. And yet, the Quran says that's what Christians believe. At least some Christians believe that. And so Muslims all the time say, oh, that's what Christians believe, when it's not. I know of no Christian who's ever said that.
All right.
Because of the fact that how people's mind works in terms of finite human mind cannot separate that if there are three gods and one in three and three in one, how could a human being not view the God as you Christians call God the Father would not be third of Trinity?
Yeah, because in classical Christian theology, the Father is the first person of the Trinity, not the third. So if you keep saying that Christians teach that God the Father is the third of a Trinity, that's distortion of what Christians believed long before Muhammad. Go back and look at the creeds. Go back and look at the councils. There is no creed or council that says God the Father is the third in a Trinity. When we're talking about the classification of the persons of the Godhead, the Father is the first, the Son is the second, and the Holy Spirit is the third. Now, I'm not saying it's true. What I'm saying is this is what Christians believe. And if the Quran is going to accurately represent the beliefs of Christians, specifically Trinitarians, then it should at least get the language right. There is no Christian group that says the Father is the third of three. That's wrong historically. But before you continue, you've got to take a break. Don't leave. Hang with us till after the break.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesus or Muhammad live from ABN. We are talking about tolerance and intolerance in the minarets in Switzerland and other issues. We apologize for the waiting on the phone calls, but I will take a call now from William. Good evening. Go ahead, you're on the air. William is gone?
Manu, call back in the next show. Sorry, brother.
All right.
Brother in humanity.
All right, I have with me Tony. Good evening, Tony. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. How you guys doing?
I'm
all
fine.
right,
How about
Tony.
yourself?
How are you?
Okay. I want you to open up at, you said that at رسالة بولس الأولى تيموثاوس.
Timotheus, first Timotheus.
Number 1.
First or second?
The first.
First.
Okay. What about
Tony, I just have to ask. Tony, I just have to ask very quickly, because every time we have a topic for the show and we're trying to discuss the topic or something very closely related to it, you tend to go off in a totally different direction.
Yeah. Where are you going with it?
It's just some random topic that popped into your mind. Is this going to relate to our? Is this going to be part of our topic tonight?
Muslim inconsistency, that they're inconsistent? Is that related to that or no?
Oh, yeah, it's related to that.
You sure? So,
okay,
Tony, we'll make a deal with you. If we look at 1 Timothy, it's not related to it, then we'll end the call. How about that? We'll make the deal.
Okay.
Go ahead.
1 Timothy what?
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. It says also that he's allowed to have a slave in a Christian.
Okay.
How could?
Okay, so Tony, how is that related to Muslim intolerance and inconsistency and double standards? Was the topic slavery and Christianity and Islam? Since you agreed that if your passage... No, it's not the same thing, Tony. Tony, it's not the same thing. Tony, it's not the same thing. When we have a topic on slavery and Christianity and Islam, then you can raise this passage. So you agreed that if you went off topic, then we're going to end the call. So thank you for agreeing, because you did went off topic. Maybe, Dave, am I wrong? Is slavery related to Muslim intolerance and consistency? So thank you, Tony. We'll hear from you again.
We will go to Maya. Good evening, Maya.
Okay.
Maya, good evening. You're on the air. Go ahead. We lost Maya?
No, that was actually Tony. He was laughing.
All right.
He just wanted to laugh because he wanted us to, when you laugh, the world laughs with you.
Maya.
When you cry alone.
Right. If we don't have Maya, we have Michael.
Michael,
Okay,
welcome.
go ahead, Maya. Good evening.
Okay, Maya, welcome.
Maya, you're on the air. Go ahead. Maya?
Maya's not there? Maybe
Hello?
Maybe she's from Maya. She's waiting for 2012.
All right. Let's go to Michael.
Michael, you there?
Good evening, Michael. You're on the air. Go ahead. Michael.
Then we lost all the calls. Okay.
Okay.
We lost the
Do
calls.
we
and we'll go
have
to
Joe? All right. Good evening. You are Joe?
Dave.